Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. My name is Sam Mungai. I'm the departmental head and lead in this wonderful institution called Africa Digital Media Institute. We welcome you to plug in to this session this afternoon. We know you're going to get value as we have shared, whichever level that you're in, whether level 1, level 2, or level 3, as I've always told you, you're in good hands. These are professionals who have served in the industry, and you're going to tap into their individual and collective skills from the industry. In summary, we're going to share with you the most in-demand skills that will help you move to the next level. We're going to talk about the industry, and it's going to be interactive at some point. We, as I had told you earlier, prepare your questions so that at the opportune time, you can ask questions. Make sure that you leave here with value. That's the aim of this webinar, to share information, to inspire you, to motivate you. Without much ado, I want to leave you with a quote by a gentleman that I used a lot in my teaching, Vusi Tembekwayo. And he says, don't talk price, talk value. So this webinar is going to illustrate how you can equip yourself to be a professional service provider who delivers value, so that when somebody asks, but your price is a little steep or higher than the average market, well, tell them you're not in that league. Just talk about the value that your service to their organization will bring. So without further ado, I want to invite my colleague. I've known this lady for a while. She's a professional. She's fun, and she has been in the industry for a while. So Miss Dorothy Lavuna, take it away. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Sam. Sam and I go back like cornrows. And I consider him a friend and a brother. And yeah, I mean, I can go on all day. Welcome, everyone. I would be remiss if I did not introduce my other colleagues who are here. We have Arlene, Aira. Just maybe if you can introduce yourself and say hi to everyone, I would appreciate it, Arlene.
Hi everyone. It's good to be here, and I'm looking forward to what they share. As usual, she's such a great person to hear from. Every time I hear from her, I feel like I'm going to know her over and over again. So for those of you who are attending, you're in for a treat.
Thank you. Thank you, Arlene. We also have Annie Rungu. She and I also go way back. Anne, please introduce yourself and say hi to everyone.
Like cornrows, huh?
Yes, we go back like cornrows.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the time today just to catch up and chat with us about this ever-changing space digital market. My name is Anirongo. I'm a trainer for the 1 for 3. We are the people who are basically KYMs for hot minutes. So yeah, looking forward to that. I also learn a lot from her. She's something else, more than you guys realize. Thank you. So back over to her.
Thank you, Anne. So that's the team. And of course, we have our able leader, Sam. All of us will be having this discussion together. I thought I would start by I see there's 8 students here. And I like to see in the chat very quickly, what in your own words. Don't Google it, don't chat GPT it. In your own words, what do you understand about digital marketing? Just like, what is digital marketing? I'm from the old school where before we started a class, we would always ask, when we joined Form 1, the first thing that would happen is you'd be asked, what is biology? That was the foundation. And at this time, it seemed silly. But now I realized there's nothing better than a good foundation. So I just want to hear what your thoughts are. You can write on the chat. Marketing through digital, you're funny. Knowing how to sell online, interesting. And I would even raise the question of what is the difference between selling and marketing? Continue putting your answers there of what you think digital marketing is. While you do that, I will introduce myself also. I will say my name is Dorothy. I am a lecturer by profession. It's my passion. For some reason, I connect very well with the Gen Zs. I don't know if I will connect also with the alphas when they come, but I love to teach. It brings me joy. It makes my heart full. I'm currently pursuing a PhD. You pray for me. It has not been easy. There's a reason they call it permanent head damage. It's quite something. But other than that, there's not much else to know about me. I guess you'd have to live with me and have conversations with me to know me further. So let me see what the answers are. Then we can take it from there. Knowing how to sell online. Marketing is the art of selling. It raises the question, what's the difference between marketing and selling? Marketing efforts done on the internet. Belinda, you look like you are index number 1. Marketing is making products known to the public. Selling is getting the product sold. Smart lady there. Thank you, Njoki. Marketing your products or services online through platforms such as social media or even cable TV. Okay, so would we say that cable TV is digital? That's another, that's something to talk about. What else? Who else has spoken? Marketing your product or services online through platforms such as, and then we have Tugi is saying permanent head development. Thank you. You know what? I'm going to start saying that. I'm going to stop saying permanent head damage. I'm going to start saying permanent head development. Yeah. If only after you got it, your head looked the size of what you had studied. That would be nice. Someone else has said digital marketing is mostly not about selling, but building your relationship and loyalty of your products online to potential consumers. That's very good. I like that answer. So basically what digital marketing is I like to separate the two words, digital and marketing. With digital, it's all about using platforms, and I'm not going to get technical. I'll speak like it's a layman's language. It's all about using platforms that are online, basically, to market your product, to get your product known out there. It's like, I usually like to give the example of, there's a saying where, having a product and not marketing it is like having, what's the saying? I'm sure you've heard it. Having a girlfriend, a beautiful girlfriend who no one can see. How is it? There's a saying. Whoever it is who will answer me that question, who will give me the saying, I'll buy for them airtime for 20 bob. Nitakutunuka. Not marketing your product is like, there's a saying. Anyway, digital marketing is all about being on the digital platform. It's all about being on the internet, but getting your product known. Now, there's a difference between marketing and selling, because selling assumes that there's an exchange of a product for money, that there is some kind of exchange that happens. With marketing, it's all about making your product known. In the process, if you happen to sell it and get something in return, well and good. But all marketing is for the sake of awareness. Not all marketing is for the sake of selling. Does that make sense? Not all marketing is for the sake of selling. Does that make sense? For example, there are some of you, if I go onto your social media, on your Instagram, on your TikTok, you have all these videos that you're doing. And the reason why you put it out there is because you want people to see. There's an adrenaline rush that comes from, Joshua, I'll respond to that shortly. There's a reason why people just post, like you'll see, it's my birthday next Wednesday. And I'll put it there and people will be like, happy birthday. And I'll say, thank you, everyone. That's a form of marketing. I could have just said it quietly to people, but for some reason, I feel the need for people to know about it. So all marketing is for the sake of awareness, but not all marketing is for the sake of selling. Now, whether you're selling or just marketing, at the end of the day, the digital platform today is the best way to get your content out there. There's a difference between the traditional form of marketing, which we all know about, which was, the radio, the TV, which is why I was disagreeing with you a bit. The person who said cable TV. I think the reason why you're saying cable TV is because these days your TVs are digital. But some of us who grew up in a different era had TVs which were not digital. I know that I have several witnesses here. Understood, but the traditional form, and says cable TV streaming, yes. But the reason why we are saying that now is because the tool of television has evolved. But originally, television is considered a traditional form of marketing. It has been used and it has been adjusted to something new, something more unique. But the original, it's like even when you look at billboards, initially a billboard was static. Like you would see a billboard somewhere and you just see, like where I'm seated, I'm on the roundabout for the City Mortuary roundabout. Directly what I am looking at, there is an advertisement for Coca-Cola, and it says unlock cash prizes in every sale. That's a traditional billboard, but things have evolved today. These days, a billboard is moving. Like you see, one moment it's showing a perfume, the next moment it's announcing the crusade by Prophet Award. The next you're seeing it is, it's evolved. So is TV a digital form? Now you can say it is, but originally, when the TVs used to look like this was the front, this was the back. Eileen is saying when we used to see Rice on TV trying to look for channels, not only did we see Rice, we'd take a pair of slippers and start beating. And the lines would shake, 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 and then eventually you'd see something. Or sometimes those TVs, you'd see one side is red, the other side is white. It's half dark and white, half red. And that red, you would cheat yourself that those are all the spectrums in the rainbow. But it was just still black and white. I hope I've responded to someone there. Yeah? Gen Z, do not panic. The TV was built tough. It's true. It survived a lot. Those things used to fall. Okay. Tugi cannot relate. It's okay. We are here for you. We are here to tell you. Wazee kumbuka. Yeah? So digital marketing is all about all of these platforms. Things have evolved these days. The word digital is so synonymous with our times. We're living in very unprecedented times because for the first time, there's hardly anything you can do right now, any kind of business that you can run right now that is not also digital. Yeah? There's hardly any, unless you live in, I don't know, Right now, everything is digital. If it's banking, it's digital. If it is medicine, it's digital. I'm writing my dissertation right now. Most of my research, I'm doing it digitally. Before, you'd have to go to the library and sit until your hair grew gray. As you do the research, you go like this and turn pages. Now there are journals, there are digital journals. Now there's all this material out there that you can use to develop yourself. So what does that mean? It means that not only is digital marketing the place to be right now, it also means that everything digital is the way of the future. Like for you to decide that you're not going to think digital is burying your head in the sand, and you've decided that you don't want to move forward. You might as well just go to the village and sit there and, and even then, my mother is 77 years old. My mother has access to social media. My mother can buy medicine for her arthritis on Amazon and it gets delivered to her house. So my mother is also digital and she lives in the village. So you have no excuse. Everyone right now has the capacity to not only be digital, but to also practice digital marketing. Let me read what Josu is saying. And I think the programs on TV are all digital at the end of the day. It's because they've evolved, Josu. But certainly the TV era has evolved. TV, again, there was the traditional form of marketing. Like I said, there was the traditional, even radio has evolved. There was the original radio that you would carry like this. Like sometimes you'd see people covering them with nets. You carry, people carry them like this. Again, even that I know you can't relate. Like people would walk with a boombox. There's an old man in my shags in the village who was telling me back in the day, he was the first person in the village to own a radio. He says there was no meeting that old men would have that he would not be invited because he was the guy. He owned a radio and he owned a bicycle. And at the time, there was only one radio station, and that was VOK. And it was only open from 4 p.m. to 10 o'clock. And it only read news and it only played patriotic music. You people don't know what patriotic music is. Some of us grew up knowing the meaning of patriotic music. Now, I don't think there's any patriotic music. Is there any song about Kenya really that can make you feel bad? The ones which are there are complaining about the government. These ones by Akina Sauti Sol and those ones, that's not patriotic music. Okay, maybe that one. Let's give it Naina that one. Always daima mimi Kenya. But Akina Ann know what I'm talking about. Patriotic music was the kind that on a national holiday, we'd go to Nyayo Stadium and we'd all be dressed in the same uniform. To us, that was what patriotic music was. You'd go and you'd be given small flags and you'd all dance in synchronized whatever for the president. The president's name had to feature somewhere there. Siku ile Kenyatta alishikwa. Whoa, yes, those ones. Those are the ones I'm talking about when it comes to patriotic music. You guys are making me divert. Anyway, there is the traditional, all of those, but now all of these things have evolved. Even phones, there was the original phone. Like the way you say, I'll call you. As we know what it means by I'll call you. Like the original, the ones that when you would dial, you'd go like that. You go like that, the thing comes back. Two, like that. And if you had it, even you were considered chief material in those days. Yeah. So I'm not saying that these things have not evolved. I'm just saying that the traditional forms, the original traditional forms of marketing have evolved to now what we see today as digital marketing. Slamming down the phone, a missed way of handling conflict. Yes, you tell them, I hate you, and slam it down. and you talk while you're twirling a cable like this. Those days, it was the equivalent of drawing a map on the ground. And every news had to start with Mtukufu Rais Daniel Toroitich. In fact, to the point, if we did not hear that, we thought he was sick or something, because you are so used to hearing his name every day that it was like a tablet. You used to know every day I should have heard his name. Anyway, I digress. So what are some of the careers that we can do? The content would run for 15 minutes, sometimes even 30. As in, the news was as long as the report about the president. So sometimes if it was something very major, like if he had gone to the UK, news could even be 2 hours. Just news, by the way. And it was news all about him. So at the time, to be frank, you know, the way these days we will hear about, oh, people have been abducted, oh, there's domestic violence, all these things, all of those things, we hardly ever used to hear about them. Of course, I know they were still happening, but for some reason, the news was all about the president. So we never used to hear about, you know, that there's an, okay, maybe at some point at the very tail end, we would be told about a hurricane, a typhoon in China, like 10 minutes of international news. But it was almost like, and as long as you see the president, there's no other news worth talking about. And that time he's only gone to church. That's it. You know, so times have changed, is all I'm saying. And you see, this is another sign of the digital age, because information is so rampant, like everyone is free to share whatever information is there. We are exposed to much more. In the days of traditional marketing, we were very limited. In the days of traditional marketing, even censorship was higher. Like before, even seeing people kissing on TV was a big deal. One of the most scandalous shows that we would see growing up was The Bold and the Beautiful. And it was, our mothers used to tell us, that is the food of the devil. And and they used to put it at around 11 o'clock. In fact, in our minds growing up, we used to think there's nothing after 11 o'clock. There's like the world shuts down after 11 o'clock, you know? Now, the world is so open. Everything is so available to us. Maybe the debate that can be raised is, how is it good that we have more information? Is it better that we have more information than before? Because I find that because we didn't have that much access to information, we sought it more. You know, people who didn't have access, like people like my father, used to read books a lot because information was not available to him the way it is now. So they were hungry for reading. They were hungry for knowledge. They were hungry for wisdom even. Now there's so much information and people, because it's just there, I don't know, at the risk of sounding bad, can we say people have become dumber? That's a debate for another day. I feel like that sometimes Anne and I are on a platform somewhere, and there's someone who posted that scarcity shows you, Anne, did you see that post by the gentleman, the one who usually posts, you know, he usually posts nuggets every day. The bull look for it and then you read it. Today is Dawn. Dawn posted something about scarcity. If you can see it, because I'm talking to guys here, if you can find it, just post it there. TV and radio closed at 12 midnight up to 5 a.m. Exactly. And to us, there was nothing that existed, as in everything shut down. Like we couldn't imagine, in our childhood minds, we couldn't imagine that there was anything that went on beyond midnight, because the national anthem has been sung, the TV station has shut down. What else is going on in the world? See, people sleep, like everyone shuts down. Now we are constantly on the clock. Information is constantly flowing. We are bombarded by information. So it's, again, I will pose it to you. Do you think that too much information has made us lazy? And yes, scarcity breeds clarity. Thank you. Maybe because there was scarcity of information, they were wiser. There was clarity. You saw what was important, you saw what was not. Now or you could tell the true from the fake, the real from the fake. Because there was scarcity of information. Now there's so much, like there's so many during the time of COVID, the conspiracy theories. My mom was born during the time of when the measles pandemic came out, my mom. And she was telling me, she caught it and she almost died. Fortunately, she lived to tell the tale. And she was telling me at the time, they could not, of course, there was hardly any information out there. So what the government would do, someone would come out with a gramophone. You know what the gramophones are? Like, it looks like, if you don't know what a gramophone is, think of a Grammy. That thing looks like that. So they'd go shouting like that. Kama mtoto wako ako na maradhi ya measles, mwambie akae, like they would be told how to quarantine, all of that, and they would behave, they wouldn't go anywhere. They'd stay home. Why? The government has said. Now, during the time of COVID, you tell people to stay home and they're like, why? People are out. There's a curfew and people are still going out. On that note, free Boniface Mwangi, he's free. Okay. Not lazy, but easily overwhelmed, then stuck. Our brains aren't designed to process all this real-time info. I don't know about that, because also you decide what you feed your brain. So it's a personal decision. Anyway, I hear what you're saying. Now, I digress. I'm saying all of this to mean that we are in a digital age and everything has moved digital, including marketing. So since before we were in the digital, Annie wanted to say something? Okay, I saw you had unmuted yourself. Since we are in the digital age, it only makes sense that marketing also has evolved into the digital era. The way we used to market our product before is not the same now. Before, a billboard, a poster was enough. A mention on a radio station was enough. Now, hardly anyone focuses on the traditional methods of it. No one is sitting waiting for TV shows the way they used to, unless it is a telenovela, those Mexican ones that are on Citizen. But generally, no one is actually seated every day waiting for your specific show to come. So if you are saying that you're going to market on Citizen TV at this and this time, you will miss a lot of your audience, because not everyone is seated watching news the way they used to. Things have evolved, things have changed. So we have also to move as well, which is why digital marketing is the place to be. What are some of the careers that someone can pursue in digital marketing? I went and checked. There are quite a few. There's a digital marketing intern, because many of the people who run companies are of the older generation and they struggle to understand the digital space. This is a very good chance for you to come in and take over, to show them how it's done. So joining a company as a digital intern can start you off on the ground floor and then you rise up the ranks from there. Actually, is there any business you can run these days? Well, I was going to say that there are some businesses you can run without the digital whatever, but you can run it, but you won't be as effective. Yeah. Digital marketing intern. Another job that you can do is a photographer, digital photographer. There's a difference between the traditional way of doing photographs and the digital photographs. The quality is different. So a digital photographer, and it is also something you can look into. Social media specialist, many companies have that position. It's very new in most companies where they hire a social media specialist. They get paid pretty well, especially in the West. Graphic designer, you can also be a graphic designer, a copywriter, an influencer. How many people here are influencers? Any influencers in this group? I'd be interested. You should share your handle here so that we follow you. I've been thinking of opening a YouTube channel. I feel like I have a lot to say. Yeah. If I open, will you follow me? Thank you. All I needed. Orlando has encouraged me. You see, the rest are just haters. I thought, oh, my friend, thank you. Thanks. Yeah. I've been thinking about it, by the way, for a long time. I feel like I have something to offer the world. And I'm working also on opening my, let's do this. Atifinya. Nyanguke nayo. Let's encourage each other. Let's do this. And you see, the problem also with people is they don't start it. They don't start because you want to become an influencer immediately. You want to have 1 million followers overnight. That's not how it works. You build over time. So maybe we just need to start. You know what? There'll probably be another forum another day where I'll be called to come and speak to people. By then, if you'll be on that panel or in that room, ask me if I have done it. Maybe I'll ask Anne to hold me to it. Yeah? So you can be an influencer. They make a lot of money. SEO specialist, and SEO specialist is, what is SEO in full? I know our students are here right there. What is SEO in full? Michi Chow on Instagram. Guys, please go and follow Michi Chow on Instagram. Search engine optimization, very good. You can become a search engine optimization specialist. It's out there. It's a field that is fairly untapped. And I would wager to say that once you get it, you can even start being called to conferences to speak on this, because it's such an area that is untapped. Then you can become a marketing analyst. There's a lot of digital marketing analysts out there who make good money. Like in the US, you can earn up to $66,000 per year. You do the math. You become a digital marketer. You can become a content strategist. That's also a very good job to have. You can be an e-commerce manager. You can be a project manager. You can be a creative director. I see this, especially, I see a lot of influencers, like people like Kim Kardashian, etc. They hire a creative director to tell them what they should post when, or before they post it, they go through the content and tell them this will be a bit offensive, tone down on this, you know, creative director. Or you can, I think also strategists do the same thing, but for influencers, they require that. You can become a videographer, user experience designer, a front-end developer, and the list goes on and on. I bet you that there are positions, there are roles that have yet to be discovered on the digital platform. You can offer your services remotely. Yes, these days you can be a virtual assistant. You can be a virtual assistant to someone in Germany, and you are here. I know of people who, you know, you transcribing videos, and you can be a data analyst. You know, and Kenya is actually known very much for offering some of these solutions. Kenyans are hustlers. We are actually known across the world as hustlers. I don't know if it's because of what we are exposed to in this country that has just made us hard as nails, so we can pretty much basically do anything. I don't know. But yeah, the possibilities are indeed endless. That being said, I don't know if you guys have any questions. Now is the time to jump onto this. And by the way, the beauty of digital marketing and all things digital is you can have your main job on one hand, and you can have this as a side hustle as you build your wealth. And then eventually, as the digital space evolves or your digital influence evolves, you can let go of your day job and focus completely on the digital marketing space. That's the beauty of it. So you can juggle. These days, I don't know many Kenyans these days who have only one job, like one hustle. No. Most people have 3 or 4 gigs they're running. Nimerusha maswali hapo kwa Q&A. Okay, let me see. Remote digital researchers for radio, TV, social media, for FMCGs, high demand. Yes, very true. I'm trying to see the question. Where is the question, Ojameni? Do you want to post it again? I can't see it. Okay. Let me see. What are your top tips for landing foreign clients or remote jobs? You join these platforms. Like I was on, there's one that is called, I have to look up the name, but I was on it, and there are all these, there are these forums where the platforms where they offer different jobs. I'll have to find the name for you just now. Yeah. In this day and age of Google everything. You can't go wrong. I'm trying to find, yeah. The name was, once I find it, I will tell you just now. But you go to all these platforms. There's so many. Just look up, go to Google and look up virtual jobs or virtual job platforms. Can be a good place to find. Yeah, there you go. There is one. There's so many. And you can use them even on your phone. You know, you can use them anywhere. There was now the only challenge with some of these jobs is some of them are scams. You can end up like there was one I did the work for, and unfortunately it was a scam. Like they do that, they target people from third world countries, and then you sign up, you do the job for them, and then they just start taking you round and round in circles. The whole discussion of disadvantages of digital marketing jobs, we can talk until there's so many challenges. Like, and then also the problem with some of these digital jobs is thanks for that, Sam. The challenge with these jobs sometimes is you don't know the longevity of the job. You don't know how long the job will be there. You don't know how long the platform will be there. These are some of the challenges of digital, this digital life. Everything is so makaratasi. You'll be doing virtual assistant to someone today, and you'll be working with them very well. The next month, they'll say, thanks, I don't need you anymore. Then you have to, Upwork, thank you. Upwork is the one I was talking about, especially Upwork. Avoid a job that was unverified payment, mostly scam. Yes, I'm actually on Upwork. It's just that since I started writing my dissertation, I've been very busy, but there were always so many options. And then I remember there was one where this guy from Saudi Arabia tells me, please, I need a maid. I'll pay you good commission. to find me a maid. You know, it can be very dingy and weird sometimes. But once you land the right thing, once you strike gold, you can be laughing all the way to the bank. So it's sometimes hit or miss, you know? You try this, it doesn't work. But once the more you do, it's like anything. The more you do something, the better you get at it, the more you start discovering the ins and outs, the strengths, the weaknesses, all of that. Yeah? How should a freelance social media consultant charge for their services? I don't want to answer that because I have not seen your work. I don't know how many hours you've put in. It's you to know. Again, the digital space is so flexible. One social media consultant can be charging 1 million per hour. The other 20, you know, because you know the kind of exposure that you have. So I'm not going to answer that question, Orlando. It's you to find out your worth. There's a quote that Sam started with, and he said, don't sell price, sell value. If you know your worth, then no one will question your prices. Yeah? Mimi jobs are Hindi na Arabu no. You see, these are things you learn with time. You learn over time. Yeah, what are your top tips? Okay. All right. What are some recent changes you've seen in the industry that we can capitalize on? Some recent changes. There was a time where the discussion on cryptocurrency was so, you know, cryptocurrency was the thing at some point, but then it crashed. So anything cryptocurrency at some point was the in thing. What are some of the recent changes? I know that right now, the focus is on Africa a lot. And many people are coming to Africa for content. This is the time for Africa, let me tell you. When the Bible says that the last shall be the first shall be the last, I think the future is African, and we are taking the world by storm. If we just get this politics in order, by the way, we'll be unstoppable. There was someone who was even predicting at some point they'll probably even be coming to buy air from us because our air is still clean. If you go to China, you go in and you even get a headache, you know? So I believe be authentic, be authentically African. This thing about Africans being all about the West, we need to cut that out. Let's be us. All of them, all the white people, all the Americans are stealing content from us. Our dance moves, even the way we speak, our jokes, our mannerisms, they're stealing from us. Now we best come correct. This is our time. Yeah, this is totally our time. What is the difference between marketing for awareness and marketing for sales? It's very simple. Marketing for sales is for the sake of exchange of money. But marketing for awareness is just to get your content out. You just want people to know about you. But marketing for sales is you probably have a price tag on each piece of content. Like with the Kardashians, for every mention, they get paid a certain amount of millions of dollars. Just for mentioning, say, this bottle of water. This is called Msafiri water. I found it somewhere. Every time I mention on a post, I get paid. So that's marketing for sales. Marketing for awareness is just for jokes. And you can start for this or just for the sake of putting content out there. Usually people start by just putting content out there. And then the more the awareness comes, the more now you can monetize your content. This is the time for Africa, you're right. Use of vernacular and regional languages for content. Yes, 100%. Especially Swahili. Everyone is giving their babies Swahili names. Imani, Malaika, Malika, and all that. This is the time. Some companies today will not ask about your qualifications. If you can showcase your work, they will consider your services. Research the market and charge accordingly. Thank you for that. Sam, I have a question on SEO. How to do you sell the skill, leave alone, remote, let's say cross organization? Someone, one of the panelists can help me respond to that. How do you sell your skill across organizations?
All right, let me comment on that.
Yes, please go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
All right, I'd like to tell Kennedy that before you even move beyond organizations, what have you done before? Because that's what sells. What have you done? What can you do? So you need a CV. Get a nice AI generated CV, but make sure it has authentic summary of what you have done. Show them what you have done. And then for across organizations, that means you've done that work for organization A and B and maybe C. So you can showcase what you have done. Once you can show them what you have done, just like I answered before that, but make sure you deliver quality, you deliver on time, and then invoice appropriately and communicate professionally, whether you're speaking to them via email, correspondence, or whether it's a voice call. Just practice. There's so much information about how interpersonal communication. Just make sure you communicate professionally and make sure you keep time and make sure you give value. If you can do that, you're in the money. They will pay. People today will pay for service, but always remember at the back of it, the company is paying for value. So what value are you bringing them? So if you're valuable, they will pay for your value. For example, if you need, say, just an example, if you want South Soul come and play, I'm just giving an example, at your party, and they say we charge 100K for half an hour and then we leave. I can assure you, you will not argue with them. You will pay. Why? Because you know the value. So people pay. So just make sure you are valuable. Just build on that. You'll be able to grow your career. Thanks.
Thank you, Sam. I think the challenge with the digital era is people don't know how to play the long game. People want now. And then listen, we all want quick money. Who doesn't? But if you want money that stays long, if you want your money long, like if you want long money, you want to build your content, build your brand, build your persona. You know, it comes over time. Find your niche. Find out what it is. What's your sparkle? What's your superpower? Get out, you know, this thing of you see Eric Omondi doing something and you're like, you want to do the same thing. And Kenyans are notorious for that. Don't do that. Find your thing. What is it? What is it? Like you might have cracked a joke one day to your friends and your friends were like, oh my God, that's hilarious. You can build on that. Creativity, I can't teach you creativity. I can tell creativity. I can tell that you're talented, but I can't teach you how to be creative. That's a very unique thing. And even if I taught you how to be creative, my creativity is not your creativity. So I think the biggest take home I hope everyone leaves here with is find your thing, find your superpower, find your niche, find your and build on it and learn to play the long game, because the short cuts here and there will just get you short money here and there. What you want is to build your brand to the point where even if you want, the next elections are coming in 2027. By the time the next elections are coming, you want the politicians to come and tell you, we'll pay you 1 million shillings to sing for us a song. And they'll pay you 500. Like, remember that time Diamond came to perform a concert and Raila paid him, what was it? 1 million shillings or something like that. I mean, this is Diamond. No one can question it, but he has content, he's created, he's built a brand. So at this point, even if he goes and starts doing funny things, his brand is already solid. Yeah, I think we've had a good session. I think we really have. Oh, someone has asked, what do you think about AI? I think it is one of those genies that has already come out of the bag. You know, the story about the genie, when you rub the bottle, it comes out of the bottle. Some genies cannot be put back in the bottle. Like COVID is already out, we can't put it back into the bottle. AI is already with us. We can't put it back in the bottle. Our task as academics, as just people, is to find a way to use it such that it's of benefit to us and doesn't destroy us. That's our task. But, you know, it's one of those things that especially the older generation are really fighting it. But it's, yeah, we can't run away from it. It's a tool. It's the way people write these days is, I mean, a lot of things are never going to be the same. Even marketing is never going to be the same. Before, you'd be paid as to have your image on a billboard. Now there's AI. And I remember Safaricom really was given a lot of heat when their last campaign was AI generated. And they were like, this is money that you could have paid actual people. You know, people really talked. But you know what? It's their prerogative. They can do what they want. Or they can do that and make the money and then maybe find a way to give back to the community, to the society. You know? So it's the digital era is teaching us to stay ahead of the game. And that's a very personal thing. It's not something someone can teach you. It's for you to do your research and to constantly see what are the trends, what's happening. And even, you know, this is where the job of a social media consultant comes about. Someone with your bosses will ask you, what are kids talking about? What are the buzzwords out there on the street? You'll be able to tell them, right now, everyone is talking about Anguka Nayo. How can we do that? Or they're doing what's this one for Diamond? I'm trying to remember the one where he points on the side. What is it? Yenye anaenda salimia watu. Which song is that? I've even forgotten it. Yeah, so you can tell your bosses this is the challenge happening right now. Or this Talabam, that one. You know, you can tell him these are the things you do are happening out there. But it's your job to stay ahead of it. Is it possible to get internship on any aspect of DM with little to no knowledge yet? Most organizations, again, build your platform. Do something. You know, people want something out of nothing. You build on your own. You see, it doesn't cost you anything to not anachukua. That one is old school, is a new one. I was saying these days, it doesn't take much for you to have a TikTok. Open your TikTok, start creating the content. That is how you build your portfolio. These days, you don't need per se to go to school to get papers. That's the digital era. Use AI sparing to guide, expedite and boost efficiency. However, you must tailor it to suit the specific work. Do not copy verbatim. Thank you. We get very annoyed as lecturers when that happens. Your original idea is what will sell. That is true. Stay authentic. Authenticity will never go out of style. If you quote me on anything, say this is it. Authenticity will always be fashionable. It will never go out of style. So find your niche, find your voice, find out who you are, and let your light shine. Don't hide your light under a bush. Yeah, I think I'm done. I will hand it over to who am I handing it back to? Sam. You can wind it up. Thank you, guys. It's been a nice and excellent conversation. And let it not end there. You can keep it going. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy. This was excellent. I agree with you that digital marketing and SEO is still growing, still developing. There's still so much that can be done. And as we tell our students all the time, is that progress, make progression. Move from level 1, go to level 2, go to level 3. But then put the skills to work. And as we've said here again and again and again, originality will always sell. Don't copy anyone, don't imitate anyone. The industry can inspire you, AI can inspire you, but retailer it again so that it is original. This would be a good time for the participants to ask relevant questions about the industry. I haven't heard anyone talk about career progression. I haven't heard anybody ask questions like, can I get a part-time job with certificate qualifications, those kind of things. And I can allude and tell them, yes, as we said, today it's not really about the qualifications per se. I'm not telling you not to acquire them. Please do acquire them. They're very important. Get the certificate, move from level 1, move to level 2, like those assignments. Anybody who's passed through my class in level 1, we've done a practical session where we go online and you have to look for a job that you can do. Then you try it out and see, do I qualify? First of all, do I qualify for this job? Get a simple one and see if you qualify. And those platforms we've mentioned here, they have those kind of jobs, just simple jobs for copywriting and like Fiverr.com or freelancer.com. They have those simple job offers. Just have a look at those. That's to challenge yourself to find out how creative you are and how able do you have the skills. And then you can tell, what skill don't I have? And then the other thing I always tell my students is that you have a rich resource here. Before you leave ADMI, make use of all this faculty here. If you ever have a question, I like these questions you're asking here. All right, as a creative, I can tell you, yes, this is very important. What the faculty is sharing here. But as I was saying, if you want to progress like we do, and I can tell you for a fact, and I know this to be a fact amongst my faculty, we haven't reached here on our own. You've had to consult, ask questions with people who've been there ahead of you and who can guide and always show you the way forward. There are many opportunities now, and as Gen Zs now, or the younger generation, you're in a digital era right now. I started out this career in an analog setting, you can imagine. So, and remember we did in one of our classes the difference between digital media and traditional media. I started off with traditional media, doing the adverts for the newspaper, doing the physical flyers, doing radio ads, doing TV ads, and it would take so long. But these days with digital, it's instant. You can tell immediately. In fact, right now, if you post an ad on YouTube, you can tell already how many people have watched it today, how many people have seen it. And you can see by the comments there, what do they like, what do they don't like. Has it reached any? You can do instant assessment. And that's how it makes it so much fun to work in the digital space today. And I always give this interesting example. If you watch an ad, say on YouTube, say of the chewing gum, Juicy Fruit or Wrigley's, and if you find it silly, it's very simple. You're not the target audience. So just scroll by and just move on, okay? It's not for you. And it has resonated with others who have really enjoyed it. So that's the space we are in right now, which makes it fun, especially if you're passionate. So first, find out how passionate are you? And then what do you want to do? You need to have a goal. As you get into this digital marketing and SEO space, ask yourself privately, what do I want to become? What do I want to do? And even before you specialize, you need to first get the fundamental details, the fundamental skills, which we give you here. And if you notice, level 1 is just foundational. It's just setting the pace, just telling you about the industry, telling you about the skills you'll need, and just painting a picture. If I was to intern in an organization, those of us who, if you've done level 1 in my class, we went through that just to find out, what do I expect and what is the company expecting of me? And since this is a digital age, they won't give you too much time to learn, because these are skills that you can learn quite quickly from your colleagues there and from your supervisor. And then you can be able to grow quickly. I want to open it up now, and you can share your questions here in the chat, and the able team here of faculty and panelists will assist. Just ask any questions that you may have, anything that's not clear, how far you can go, who are the highest paid digital marketers here, and so on. Just open it up and we'll be happy to input. So share your questions here and we'll be keeping an eye on the chats. Arlene and Anne, you can also jump in and just add.
The questions are already there.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm saying, hello, is it possible to get internships with little to no knowledge in companies? Because when I see posters, they insist on, no, I think we answered that. What do experienced marketers look for when hiring interns or marketers who are starting out? What makes a good marketing content? That's a good question. Anyone among the panel willing to respond?
Sorry, what was the question you've asked just now?
She asked, what do experienced marketers look for when hiring interns or marketers who are starting out? What makes good marketing content?
Those sound like two questions.
Answer the way you have seen. Bilomona, answer.
Me, I can answer the part for what makes good marketing content. Again, originality is going to take you far. That's for sure. So creativity, just as Dorothy has said, it is not, you can't teach creativity. However, you can get inspiration from different already established sources, established brands. So say you are starting out in a certain industry, in a certain field. Everyone has been around the sun at least once. So there is already established, like say if you're trying to sell shoes, you'll try to find out what Backyard Shoes did, what Nike did, what Adidas does, and so on. And then you go, so what inspiration can I get from the kind of marketing they're already doing now? But then again, remember, we are in Africa, and one of the special things that we have is the fact that we have culture and language as an added advantage. So depending on the target audience, the market that you're trying to do this content in, then you can use Sheng, you can use hiyo lugha ya Islando ile, si tulikuwa tunaita Sheng, hizi tunaitwa nini? And then also even vernacular content actually, for some reason, it has way more traction than English content. So try and see the market that you're trying to push this content to, or this marketing content to, that's who should decide for you what makes good marketing content. So there is no, how would you put it? There's no box that you can only pick from. You have to think around, outside, above, below the box. Yeah, but just depends on the audience that you're trying to talk to. Yeah. So I think maybe Sam can share what kind of interns, or what do experienced marketers look for in interns? He's our godfather. That's why I'm asking.
Thank you, Anne. I totally agree with you. The market is growing. It's very broad. The organizations are really targeting the younger generation. Let's call them the Gen Zs. For number one, for their creativity, because they have fresh and new ideas. And you've mentioned something that's very important here: Swahili, Sheng, and vernacular. You see, the industry hasn't exploited those. And there's so much potential right there. And then there's some demographics that have been not really focused in, and you could still make your inroads there, like the Gen X's and the older guys and the baby boomers. Those are in the society and they have deep pockets. You need, if you can tailor your ads to reach them, or if you look for ways to reach them, and using digital marketing tools, just find out what platforms they are on or they are on. Like, for example, I like this gentleman called Vusi Tembekwai because he makes a lot of sense. Now, in one of the short videos he posts on TikTok, he says the big organizations the big companies that sell luxury cars, like the Bentleys and Rolls Royce. He asks, have you ever seen an advert for a Rolls Royce on YouTube or on TV? He says, no. But how do they market them? He says these are specific marketers who go out to air shows where they are marketing those private jets. Because those guys who can afford private jets are not going to call an Uber on the app. Oh, no. Okay? That's where you market your Bentleys and Rolls Royce. Similarly, the Gen X's here and the baby boomers, the guys with big pockets, where are you likely to find them? In golf courses and those kind of places and exclusive clubs. So if you have a product or service to market to them, package yourself and look for them where they are, and then take that service and product there. That's one way of doing it. So there are many ways of doing video marketing, doing photography marketing. So those are areas that are developing. And remember, these days, people want to see. They don't want to be told. They want to see. They want to see as in they want to see a picture or they want a video. And then just some little content or somebody making a small remark. And that's all digital marketing. So if you can creatively think of how to get into those demographics that haven't been reached, then you're going to be in business. And those are some things you can even produce dummy adverts right here in the ADMI studio. Just come in on a Saturday, arrange with Mwalimu. I love those kind of things because I'm a creative. And then my background is media and advertising. So I have a pulse of the industry. So those are the things that resonate well with me. So see, that's how you create a portfolio. Just create a brand and just do a dummy advert against what we've talked about here, either video, photography, or in vernacular. That's how you showcase what you can do. And then you package that so that you have a nice ECV. Then you're building yourself as a brand so that when you go out there, you already stand out. So remember, the most important thing is to stand out, not to fit in. You'd rather be awkward, but just stand out for being different, and you'll be noticed. And then convince them or the panelists that you can deliver. So those are some of the ways that you can package yourself. I'm not sure, Ken, about that app. I don't know if Dorothy, you know anything about.
When it comes to there's so many apps out there to do whatever it is you want.
Yes.
YouTube is your friend. Most of this, most of the apps that I use, most of the programs that I use, I learned through YouTube. Just go to YouTube and look up how to time bucks for dummies, or how to use time bucks. I promise you'll get a video there. Most people learn over, most creatives learn over YouTube. Yeah. Or even just Google videos on how to, and you know, this time bucks is created by someone and they want people to use it. So I'm sure they have content out there on how best to use it. And by the way, that's another field that you guys can look into. The companies are always creating, you know, apps and whatnot, and then they look for influencers to use them and record videos and share and create tutorials, you know? So yeah, YouTube, go to YouTube. That is what I will advise you. In fact, if you go to YouTube, they might even give you ideas of a better app or a better program to use. That's my advice. Okay, unless there's anything else, Sam, go ahead.
I just wanted to add on to what you have said. To summarize it, simply means continuous learning. And there are so many resources today online. Of course, you have to be cautious with what content you're consuming, because not every content provider is really genuine or authentic. Some people are just looking for likes and so on, but there are some authentic content creators in this digital media space and SEO, the Neil Patels, the Vusi Tembekwayos, there are quite a number. So, and they have relevant content, they're tried and tested. Remember, as we've said in life, don't take advice from somebody who hasn't reached where you want to go. So make sure that you are tapping into somebody who has already been there, done that, and he or she can tell you, that's the way, there are pitfalls on that way, this works, this doesn't work. And then you build up on that. All right. Dorothy, back to you before we wind up. Okay, as Dee is coming back. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say you're very right. And in this day and age, even mentors can be digital. Like you can have as many mentors as you want. I also admire Vusi very much. I've never met him, but I can tell you he's influenced me in so many ways. You can be mentored by Elon Musk and you've never met him. You can be mentored by me when I create my YouTube channel one day, you know. Yes, exactly. Shadrach is saying the mentors are digital. Yeah. It's not like before where you'd have to meet your mentor and buy them coffee and sit at Java and this old man or old woman talks and talks and talks and you have to pick the nuggets. These days, whatever content you want, if it's public speaking, if it is how to do makeup, if it is comedy, how to be a good comedian, all of that, you can get mentors. And it's the digital space. Welcome to the digital world. Possibilities are endless. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy, and thank you for a wonderful, informative presentation. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the other faculty members, Arlene and Anne, and also ADMI for giving us this platform. And for you participants, for plugging in to listen in, you've participated, you've been interactive. I'll encourage you, if you have questions, please continue to ask us. You have our email addresses, I believe, and in your respective classes, you have WhatsApp groups. Just continue asking. That's how you grow, by asking questions and growing. And don't fear, just ask any question. And personal, how to develop yourself, how to spot opportunities, how to know whether you can do a job or not, or just to find out what's the industry looking for, what are the kind of questions they are likely to ask. In my class, we've done a mock interview. So we went through all the likely questions you're likely to be asked if you go for an interview in the digital marketing space or SEO. We went through that, and we were able to go through all that, and I know the students got value. Yes, there it is. There are questions there. There's WhatsApp, and there's a lot of support available. So I'll encourage us to continue asking until we do this again. So thank you very much. I don't want to lock anybody out. Anne, please go ahead.
Sorry, there was a question I think we missed in under Q&A.
Please go ahead.
From Tugi, and she asked, short form content and influencer marketing are really good trends right now. How do you use these with a tight budget? Tugi, let me answer you the best I can, because right now I'm actively part of an influencer marketing management
And your line is breaking.
Influencers. We're talking about it changes though, from like say 100K, 50K, I have micros and nanos who have even 10. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, that's
okay. Sorry. Huku Kajiado network inapoteanga bila warning. What was I saying? Yes. So there is macro influencers, those with a really high following, those we consider the mega influencers. And then we have micro and nano influencers. And how do influencers come about? It's just someone with a story to tell, someone with a message to pass, and people are actually they gravitate towards the type of messaging that person puts out, right? So you can actually partner with micro influencers or nano influencers, guys with, we're talking 1,000 followers, 2,000 followers. Those guys can even get you the return on investment that you're looking for. So your budget should not limit you from using influencers. So it's, you can just work with them like a long-term agreement. It can be a percentage on revenue. It can be a retainer. It can be on a per project basis. Although usually we advise influencers to do per project basis, because because you're not doing that work with them exclusively, doing a retainer for you as a marketer or a brand is usually tricky. If you have them exclusively, where, for example, you want them to work strictly on Safaricom campaigns, so that means they can't do anything for Airtel, they can't do anything for Telcom. But you see, an influencer is basically a freelancer, right? So work with them on a per project basis. Think wide, think far. It doesn't have to be influencers just from Nairobi. You'd be surprised where your big break or sales, whatever it is that you're trying to do, might come from a region outside of Nairobi. So you have to think wide, be open-minded. Don't assume that an influencer is just someone with millions of followers. That would be my advice to someone who wants to do this, to work with influencers with a tight budget. Thank you. Unless someone else wants to add, I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne, for that. Shadrach, please go ahead. He has a question. Tugi, yes, your question is answered. Shadrach, we don't want to lock anybody out. Shadrach, you can ask your question. We are here to respond. Or anybody else for that matter who has a question before we sign off. Yes, go ahead, Shadrach.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for this session. I'm Shadrach Mwendo. My question is about, I'd like to join ADMI in future. I receive all the email, the notifications, especially in content creation and digital marketing. So I like to know your prices, because whenever you're advertising, you never put your prices. And nowadays, when I've worked in a learning institution, we offer digital courses and tech courses, and mostly everything about the course is usually out there. So I like to know about the course for the digital marketing and the content creation course, and the duration and the flexibility of learning the same. And it will be glad if you can put it in the adverts. If it's digital marketing, you can put it like the price and what you're gonna learn and the flexibility. I also call for flexibility whereby you can come for, is it Caxton House? Whatever, yeah, you can come at the school, or you cannot do what we call the blended learning, whereby you can do partly online and for some of the practical bit, and whereby you need to collaborate with other students, you can come at the site.
All right, thank you for that, Shadrach. Kindly use these numbers here, like the WhatsApp, the 0711 486 581. If you can see our email addresses as faculty, you can also come through. But this is the best one because this is the pilot line where you get all that information. I'll tell you, yes, there's blended learning because the digital marketing and SEO level 1 is and level 2 and even level 3. You learn them online, so it's flexible. It targets people who are out there doing their own stuff, but who want to improve their knowledge and skills. So that I can already pick that works for you. Call in and you'll get all that other information that you need: registration requirements, payment requirements. You are unlikely to get that on adverts out there. Remember, the world operates on a competitive level. Every institution out there, every business out there is competing. So if you go to Java, you won't find the prices there. A cup of coffee, 300 bob. No, you have to go in and ask. Because if you did that, you'd be out of business tomorrow, okay? Because of competition. But if you come in and you ask on these lines, you will be given all that information that you require. And as you have seen, you're going to be in good hands, qualified faculty, and we all have industry experience. We have worked for the industry. Some of us are still in the industry. We've worked for media, electronic media, broadcasting, outdoor advertising. So we bring a wealth of experience, knowledge, and expertise. So our sessions are informative, motivational, and they prepare you for the industry to get to the next level. And once you're done with our level 1, you can always go on to level 2 and level 3. We are still available even offline. I'll volunteer myself. You can still reach me offline, and we can still engage. I hope that has answered your question. Our time is now off, so we need to bring this to a close. Thank you, everyone. And you can continue talking to us offline, and we will be happy to give you more information. I'll be on standby for the next half an hour, just in case somebody has a little more information. I will be happy to personally provide you with any information. I will be on standby. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's call it an evening. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, panelists, ADMI, and you participants. I hope you took home some value. Let's do this again. Be safe, take care until next time. And remember, digital marketing and SEO is here to stay. This is one of the industries that's growing rapidly. And remember, you can even work in UK while you're still here. So there's so much that can be done, and you can make money through your phone. Thank you, guys, and take care. Kwaherini.